Okay, as we all well know, the organ trade here in Mexico is a very multi-billion-dollar business. Maybe only second to the weapons and the drug trade. Now, what's causing this is the fact, obviously, a lot of people need organs, and they need those of the young to replace theirs. So a lot of times, street children, people of this sort, are targeted, unfortunately. And a lot of times, the people who are there to satisfy this demand are the people of cartel origin without any morals. Now, without going too further into this, you have to look at the state. This is a specific story that was going on at this time, all right? This is going on in Guerrero, Acapulco. Now, there's a very high demand at this time, in specific, for kidneys, for such things, because in between there and the Philippines, they were basically satisfying the world demand, okay? And they're competing in price as well, from what I understand. So, to paint this picture as best I can, I know you guys like how OG Shadow paints pictures for you. There's a checkpoint, just any other normal checkpoint, you know, Guerrero. They're stopping cars, nothing out of the ordinary at all. One of these big refrigerated trucks comes up. Nothing huge like a 48-wheeler, just something you'd use like maybe for seafood, like medium-sized, okay? The guy driving it, very calm, very respective. All his paperwork was together, insurance, so on and so forth. Now, the only thing that drew the attentions to law enforcement was the fact they're working for a different organized crime group, as you can imagine, okay? So, just off that, they were curious. You know, they noticed this guy didn't have his correct paperwork as far as being with the correct group, so they decided to do a check. Now, what they found on this check was something you wouldn't even find in a terror movie. It's hard to explain. It's hard to put on YouTube, and you guys have to use a lot of your imagination. But what I will say is even the people, the hardened cartel people who were there supposedly at this time doing this checkpoint were left speechless. Maybe because they were working for Sinaloa or whoever they were working for, they weren't accustomed to seeing things of this nature. But what they found inside this truck was dozens and dozens of bodies of children who'd been gutted of all vital organs, okay? They'd been frozen or semi-frozen, whatever state needs to be transported. Their organs have been separated and, you know, categorically separated, so on and so forth. Labeled skin transplants, this and that. You know, you can go into 1,000 different ways, I'm sure, into labeling body parts, okay? I'm not an expert on that, nor am I a surgeon, nor am I going to lie to you that I am such. But it was truly sickening find, and inside this refrigerated truck was all these remains of all these local kids who have been disappearing. Now, we all know where these were going to. They were going to wealthy people or people high up in the drug trade or in the political trade who needed organ exchange. Take a moment of silence to breathe that one in. 100%. No criminal charges were brought against this. Now, what was different about this is this truck actually got caught, okay? All these children were missing within a 24-hour period. So that means these were recently abducted children, which is usually the case. You need a recent host. You don't want someone who's been dead a couple days because the cells will start dying, other reasons. So these were all recently abducted children, which also means another thing. It means there was probably a list. They had a list that they need this type of blood, this type of organ, this type of stuff for this type of person, which is even more terrifying. So they were literally hunting children off a list, knocking names off this list until they got to what they needed. And once they got to that list, they'd gotten to the point where they'd chopped them all up, done whatever they'd done. They'd probably kept a couple of them alive a while until they completed the list. Chopped them up, did what they had to do, and then they were on their way to bringing that list to said clinics to perform these operations on these said people. You can use your imagination who they were. Could be from anywhere in the world, honestly. You might think it's just Mexicans, but guaranteed it's not. You know, there's other people in other countries who are in desperate need of transplants in this hurried manner. And we have great surgeons here as well, whether you believe it or not. And the sooner the better for lots of people. So this shows you the true evil that comes after, you know, even with the arms traffic, the drugs traffic, there's organs traffic as well. And this takes a heavy toll on the community because you have to remember the mother and the father who end up without children, the rest of the family who ends up without brother and sister, on top of the trauma that ends up on the kids that can't walk to school anymore because they know kids in their group or in their salon or their class are being abducted, disappearing, and are never being seen again. And when they are seen again, they're thrown without organs. So it's literally a case of the body snatchers, but in real life. And like I say many times, my friends, facts is stranger than fiction. So this is really going on. This isn't anything you'll hear anywhere else. And these are the facts on boots on the ground type level, okay? On top of this refrigerated truck I've reported on, I have other friends in law enforcement who have reported on smaller cities around said areas that have just found young bodies of young men mostly without any internal organs just thrown off on the side of the highway that they've been harvested. So this isn't anything out of occurrence. I think a lot of this is going on to satisfy demand outside of Mexico. And I feel that it's only going to get worse. And it's going to be very hard to stop this type of demand until people to find somewhere else where to go to. That it becomes a little bit harder for them to get it here than it does to another place. That's the only change I see being able to be made. And the saddest part is these poor children who are without food, without water, without parents. They get offered a place to live, like I've mentioned in other videos, someone to care about them, and it's hard for them to say no and accept this help and be put in these horrible situations. So, you know, it's just another thing. I wish I could bring more of these people up off the street, especially the younger generation, and give them a good place to live and what they need, because those that don't get brought up into organized crime will get brought up into these type of abuses that will they'll never be seen again, you know? And it is what it is. You guys can take this with a grain of salt, do your own investigating, but I've seen this going on firsthand, unfortunately. So please, everybody, look into it, like I said, and consider that this is a reality. This is true evil going on in our times, in front of our faces, and not even too far from the United States at all. Okay? Not at all. Not at all. And when we all think about, we sit down tonight with our family, whether you say grace or not or whatever you do, be thankful of everything we have, every moment we have, the food we have, the roof over our head. Has nothing to do with being religious. Just be grateful for everything we have, because we're all truly blessed if we live outside of these countries. Even where I'm blessed, where I live. I live in an extremely peaceful place. I don't know if you can hear how peaceful it is right now where I live. I can take a walk outside without having to worry. Luckily, my children can grow up in a peaceful place, but a lot of people aren't in this situation. So remember, PayPal's in the notifications, are in the description, notifications. Subscribe, like, please remember to email me, ogshadowofficial@gmail.com, all lowercase, no caps, no spaces, no anything. And take care of yourselves, please. Any help's greatly appreciated. Anything I bring out to these orphans, the next trip I'm taking in is about 2 days. I already did a good sum of bottled water, rice, just basic things like that they need. And it's going well. It's going well. Thanks to everybody. So I bid you guys adieu. Have a good one.